Hello fellow gardeners, welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, I'm willing to bet you've experienced the struggle of composting in a small space. Maybe you've noticed the smell creeping through your apartment, the frustrating slowness of the process, or the simple fact that you don't have room for a traditional compost bin. What if I told you that the secret to super-fast apartment composting has been right under your nose this whole time? Forget what you thought you knew about breaking down organic waste indoors. Today, I'm revealing the one surprising trick that will revolutionize your composting, making it more efficient, manageable, and surprisingly accessible than ever before. Welcome to the world of bokashi fermentation. The apartment composting conundrum. Why traditional methods fall short. Let's be honest, composting in an apartment is genuinely challenging. If you've tried the traditional route, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Standard indoor composting setups come with a host of frustrations that can discourage even the most dedicated gardeners. The smell is often the first problem. Whether you're using a worm bin, a bokashi bucket, or any other indoor system, unpleasant odors can quickly become a reality if things aren't managed perfectly, and that's not exactly neighbor-friendly. Beyond the smell, traditional methods are often painfully slow. A typical indoor worm bin or vermicomposting setup can take anywhere from 6 months to over a year to produce finished compost, which feels like an eternity when you're staring at your growing pile of kitchen scraps week after week. Then, there's the space issue. Apartment dwellers are working with limited square footage, and dedicating a corner of your living space to composting equipment that takes up significant room feels like a luxury many of us simply don't have. Most conventional composting systems also come with their own limitations on what can be composted. Try adding meat, fish, or dairy to a traditional compost pile, and you'll quickly learn why those items are on the do not compost list. Pests, odors, and decomposition delays become inevitable problems. Many apartment gardeners become discouraged and abandon their composting dreams altogether, thinking that sustainable waste management simply isn't possible in their situation. But here's where everything changes. Bokashi offers a completely different approach that addresses every single one of these frustrations, and the results are genuinely revolutionary for urban gardeners. The secret ingredient. Introducing bokashi, your apartment's new best friend. So what exactly is bokashi, and why should every apartment gardener be excited about it? Bokashi is an ancient fermentation method that originated in Japan and represents a fundamentally different approach to processing food waste. Instead of decomposing organic matter through the slow breakdown process that traditional composting relies on, bokashi uses anaerobic fermentation, meaning it works without oxygen, to transform kitchen scraps into a nutrient-rich pre-compost material in a matter of weeks. This is the key distinction that makes bokashi so powerful for apartment living. So, the magic of bokashi really lies in this special brand that's inoculated with beneficial microorganisms. These aren't just any microbes, they're specifically cultivated to create an acidic environment that basically pickles your food waste, kind of like how salt and spices preserve vegetables. This whole fermentation process is not only way faster than traditional composting, but it's also odorless, doesn't attract pests, and honestly, creates minimal mess. The entire system, believe it or not, really only needs two simple things: a compact sealed bucket with an airtight lid and a tap for draining liquid, and of course, the specialized bokashi brand that contains those active microorganisms. Many bokashi buckets are designed to be remarkably compact, so they fit easily under a kitchen sink, in a small closet, or even out on a balcony. Some bokashi buckets are barely larger than a regular kitchen trash can, making them absolutely perfect for even the tiniest apartment spaces. But what truly sets bokashi apart from every other apartment composting method is just its incredible versatility when it comes to what can actually be composted. Unlike traditional compost piles or worm bins, bokashi accepts nearly all food waste without discrimination. This means cooked foods, meat, fish, dairy products, oils, and even bones can all go into your bokashi bucket. These are the items that would typically create serious problems in other composting systems, attracting rodents, flies, and producing foul odors. With bokashi, none of that happens. The fermentation process and the sealed bucket environment eliminate the conditions that would cause these problems, making bokashi truly a game changer for comprehensive household waste reduction. Bokashi in action, a step-by-step apartment transformation. Getting started with bokashi is remarkably straightforward, which is part of why this method has become so popular among apartment gardeners worldwide. Here's how the process works in practice. You begin with an empty bokashi bucket and sprinkle a thin layer, roughly 1 to 2 handfuls, of the inoculated bokashi bran across the bottom. This initial layer is crucial because it establishes the fermentation environment. As you accumulate kitchen scraps throughout the day, you add them to the bucket in layers. Don't worry about chopping them into tiny pieces. You can add scraps whole or roughly chopped. After adding your scraps, you sprinkle another handful of bokashi bran on top and use the lid's built-in footrest to press everything down firmly. This pressing step is important because it removes air pockets and helps the fermentation process work more efficiently. Over the next 2 to 4 weeks, as you continue adding scraps and bran in layers, something remarkable happens. The microorganisms in the bran begin their fermentation work, and a nutrient-rich liquid called bokashi tea accumulates at the bottom of the bucket. Every few days, you'll want to drain this liquid using the tap at the base of the bucket. This isn't waste, it's liquid gold for your plants. When diluted with water at a ratio of roughly 1 part bokashi tea to 10 parts water, this liquid becomes an excellent natural fertilizer that your plants will absolutely love. It's packed with nutrients and beneficial microorganisms that boost soil health and plant vitality. During this filling and fermenting phase, you might notice a slight fermented smell, similar to sauerkraut or pickles, which is completely normal and indicates that the process is working correctly. This smell is not offensive and certainly won't bother your neighbors. Once your bucket is completely full, you seal it completely and let it sit for another 1 to 2 weeks to complete the fermentation process. At this point, the contents won't look like finished compost. Instead, it will resemble pickled or fermented material, with visible pieces of food that haven't fully broken down. This is exactly what should happen. The material has a distinctive sour, fermented smell and is quite acidic. This is your pre-compost, and it's not quite finished yet, but it's incredibly nutrient-dense and ready for the final transformation. If you want to maintain a continuous composting cycle, the solution is simple. Purchase or prepare a second bokashi bucket. While the first bucket completes its fermentation, you can start filling the second bucket immediately, ensuring that you never have to pause your apartment composting operation. The golden harvest, transforming scraps into garden gold. The final step of the bokashi process is where, honestly, the real magic becomes visible. Your fermented bokashi material must be buried in soil where the remaining decomposition happens. If you have access to outdoor garden space, you'll want to bury the pre-compost about 6 to 12 inches deep in garden beds or containers, and within, 2 to 6 weeks, it will transform into rich, dark, nutrient-dense soil that your plants will absolutely thrive in. The speed of this final breakdown is genuinely impressive compared to traditional composting methods. The soil created is exceptional, full of beneficial microorganisms, enhanced organic matter, and nutrients that feed your plants at a deep level. But here's where bokashi becomes truly powerful for apartment dwellers who lack traditional garden space. You have multiple options. You can contribute your fermented material to a community composting program, which honestly, many urban areas now offer. Or, you can gift it to a friend or neighbor with a garden who will be delighted to receive such high-quality pre-compost material. Or, if you have balcony or patio space, you can bury it in large containers filled with potting soil, allowing the decomposition to happen right on your balcony while you use the enriched soil for container gardening. Some apartment gardeners have found creative solutions by connecting with local community gardens, urban farms, or even rooftop gardening initiatives that, eagerly accept bokashi pre-compost. The point is that even without a backyard, you have pathways to complete the process and benefit from your composting efforts. Your composting revolution starts now. Let me just recap the essential takeaway here. Efficient, effective composting is absolutely achievable for apartment dwellers, and bokashi is the method that makes it possible. This isn't a complicated system requiring special knowledge or extensive space. It's accessible, it works, and it transforms food waste into valuable resources without the problems that plague other methods. You now have the knowledge to start your own bokashi composting system today, and I genuinely encourage you to give it a try. I'd love to hear about your experience. If you decide to set up a bokashi bucket, please share your results in the comments below. Tell me what works for you, any challenges you encounter, and how your plants respond to this nutrient-rich compost. Your feedback helps our community learn from each other and continue improving. And please, hit that subscribe button and share this video with fellow apartment gardeners who deserve to know that composting isn't just possible in small spaces, it's incredibly rewarding. Next week, we'll be exploring advanced techniques for using your super-fast bokashi compost to maximize plant growth and soil health. Until then, happy composting, and I'll see you in the next video.